The year is 1956. Dear Abby first appears in the newspapers. The Dow Jones closes above 500 for the first time. The ocean liner Andrea Doria sinks. Elvis Presley enters the U.S. music scene for the first time. And on April 28, 1956, WDMJ TV Channel 6 signs on the air.
Very first time, WDMJ brings you the news, televised.
The studios were located in the top floor of what is now the Mining Journal building in downtown Marquette.
It's like anything new, you just start it and sort of see where it goes and hope the wheels stay on.
Thousands of people lined the streets in the Goni Centennial celebration.
Today, the Mackinac Bridge opens to the public. A 5-mile dream come true.
By the early 60s, the station had a new office and studio building, which provided new opportunities for local programming. Local programming in those early days included Darby 06, offering its own unique blend of fun and information for kids.
Station manager came down to the floor here, to the studio floor where I was running camera, and said, we're going to have a children's program. We'd like you to do it. And that was on a Thursday.
By the following Monday, the show was on the air. At Home with Ingrid was one of the first cooking shows in the country, and as you might imagine, a special favorite of the staff at TV6. Other live local programming in those early days included a March of Dimes telethon. The original telethons featured all live local acts or bands performing in the studio. The telethon also started a commitment to community service that has continued at TV6 for over 60 years. The 50s and 60s were truly a great time as many people worked to bring the magic of television to Upper Michigan. And by the time the 70s rolled around, the station was moving forward, buying new equipment and expanding the staff to take TV6 into the next generation.
Someplace special.
That open was pretty snazzy for the day time.
Good afternoon and welcome to the day after Christmas here on Upper Michigan Today. I'm Sue McQuaid.
And I'm Scott Zerba. We have a real special show for you today. We're going to be looking at mistakes, I guess.
We don't make any mistakes.
Never. Not our mistakes, but mistakes of people that have been TV.
That's what I got to do. Join me for a report on a one-room schoolhouse in Copper Harbor. What are you doing? I'm not up there. I'm Steve Asplin, and on the April edition of First Monday...
You have a warped mind, and I'm submitted to this stuff on a daily basis, and I don't like it.
TV6, Marquette.
No camps had any serious damage. Power...
The county board is proposing massive cuts, and departments like the sheriff's are up in arms over the cutbacks. How about if I just say upset? Well, when I first got here, I was a young guy. I was like, I think 22 years old or whatever.
We're out of control.
And I came out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Was fortunate enough to apply for a job here in television because in those days, you started in radio. You didn't go right into television, but I applied anyways and got lucky enough to get a position here and loved it ever since.
Rita will be filling in this summer on Upper Michigan Today, and we're getting her feet wet, whether she likes it or not.
I would love to tell stories, but we did not have a broadcasting department at Northern Michigan University. I was waitressing at Van Gogh's, and at that time, Brad Bush, who was on the city council, but more importantly, he golfed with John Ray Rauer, and he knew John was looking for a reporter. And Brad just kind of said, you know, I think you need to call this guy. And it just opened the doors.
That's live television for you.
I applied for a job here 3 times before I was actually finally hired. I used to run camera for the Finland Calling program. They actually created a position for me. They created associate producer for Upper Michigan Today / co-host. You know, I wanted to produce, direct, shoot, edit, all that kind of fun stuff. Hate wearing ties. Eventually they didn't force me to wear ties, but I mean, it was just Sue McQuaid and I.
In front of the camera, I was always behind the camera, and it was quite the adjustment, but a lot of people had confidence in me, and I was able to work it out.
We still do, Scott.
You have to forget about
Scott Zerbel, you know, I always call him my little brother. We would edit in the morning, we would do the live show at noon, and then we'd jump in the car and we would go wherever the next story was and then get back. So the hours were 8 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. I look back on our calendar and think, yeah, how did we do that? But I think what pulled us through was not only my personal family, but the staff. I entered a family.
Working in an environment where you had a daily deadline is probably the best thing you could ever have for your work ethic, because there's no excuses.
In 1980, there was like 6, 7 of us in the newsroom at that time, so it was pretty small. And we each took turns covering weekend shifts, so you'd work 6, 7 days or 13 days in a row just to get things done.
The bottom line, kind of over the years, we did the best we could with what we had. You know, being a smaller market station, you didn't always have huge budgets or 0 budgets at all.
TV6 was the best place to understand what it meant to have the public trust.
And do your part in battling fish and game law violations. Buck Levasseur, TV6 News.
Makes the news in Upper Michigan. The people of Upper Michigan.
You need to be truthful about what you report, and second of all, you know, put them in a good light. You know, I mean, they're giving their time to you, and at the same time, you want to be fair to them.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, we're here in our live audience on Tuesday's edition of Upper Michigan Today.
The people are the most important. The people watching. Your audience is everything that you hope it can be if you're right there with them.
Good evening, I'm Carol Anderson. Cleveland Cliffs Iron Company today announced more layoffs in its Michigan mining operations. The latest work reductions are scheduled to go into effect tomorrow. Terry Kovarik reports on the operations affected.
The reason for the latest round of layoffs was an all too familiar one for CCI employees. Low demand for iron ore pellets meant the need for fewer employees. The announcement of further layoffs at CCI probably doesn't come as any big surprise, especially in light of shutdowns of all 3 CCI mines. The CCI news release says about 415 salaried workers will be laid off this time around. The release also says 117 salaried employees would work on a reduced basis.
Plans, what are you going to do?
There isn't much to do in this area right now. A little woods work maybe, but just wait until the mine's open again.
Have you made any plans for the future?
Not really, no.
What do you think's going to happen up here?
I don't know. Something's got to happen.
We're in a situation right now where we have more capacity in iron ore than the steel industry can absorb.
Area charities have reported an increase in the number of people asking for help. But the fact is, as the jobless rate goes up, fewer people are able to make charitable contributions. And that's the catch-22. It's going to take effort, insight, and hard work on everyone's part. I hope the iron and steel industry can cut their Gordian knot. There is a payoff, you know. Gordius was the father of Midas, and as I'm sure you remember, his touch turned everything to gold.
The Upper Peninsula teaches people to work. But when you take away their work, they can get lost. At the end of the 70s, early 80s, there was some really dire times in the Upper Peninsula. people that were having such a difficult time, it wasn't somebody far away. It was your neighbor.
Ed, you almost got as nice an office as anybody.
Well, that's because I'm such a nice guy.
That must be it. Nice.
You know, Ed, as our news director, you know, there were a lot of arms in his life to understand what people needed. And Ed and I were discussing it. We were out on a story that day and we were discussing it, and he said, we need to do something. And I remember us saying that we need to help feed a hungry neighbor. And that was the beginning of it. Like, okay, let's figure this out.
And so that's when we came up, you know, with this idea to have a food drive. Whereas at that time, it was more of like a Marquette County type of thing, to try to help out those people, especially those who are unemployed, until they get back on their feet.
Put a date on it, and if I remember right, the first Canathon was actually in front of Angeli's food store. The mall is gone now, but it was on the far eastern end of the mall, and people would drive up and just kind of like hand us these bags of groceries.
It's really been gratifying to see the number of people that have come out tonight.
We're just so pleased our employees responded so quickly and informed them that this was going on, and next thing we know, couldn't get the boxes out of our drop-off points fast enough.
Come up. The thing is really touching because you'd see little kids and they come up with one can and hand it to you.
And what do you have in your bag here? Where are you from?
By here.
By here.
When you see the whole family get involved in something like that, that helps their neighbor and their community.
And I want to put a challenge out to the other business owners that just take the time and donate something back.
We got such a good response that each fall we continued to do that. And it gradually grew. One of the things that Sue and I were trying to do before she left at the end of the 80s was to expand it to be an Upper Michigan event. Through working through the local St. Vincent's and Salvation Army, we began to expand the network and influence of the event throughout the UP. And then in 1990, I became local program manager, and part of my responsibility was the Canathon.
I had a little list here, and I just want people to get an idea of how many...
What is this list depicting?
This is the list of Canathon drop-off points.
I wanted to build on that success that we're starting to have. So in order to do that, I enlisted the partnership of radio stations throughout the UP that were able to partner with us and co-host a collection in their local communities. When I retired, to that point, we had collected 4.6 million pounds of food for the hungry in the UP.
The real key is cooperation from people helping other people.
It's important to remember this really is a UP-wide effort.
It wouldn't happen without the heart and soul of all the people of Upper Michigan.
It'll go to UP families, UP friends, UP neighbors.
It's my way of helping to give back to the community.
Today, we are saying thank you to Upper Michigan for again helping to feed a hungry neighbor.
At the time, things weren't going really good here as far as businesses and everything else. It was sort of a downtime. We were looking for something that we could put on television, and especially we wanted something that would make Upper Michigan proud of itself. And so Roland Gustafson did the actual artwork that we used on it. Jack LaForest wrote the lyrics for it. My daughter was down in Ferris at the time, and so I grabbed my son, who was traveling with me, and he was hitchhiking, and the three of us did the shot where they came across the bridge, and we see him finally getting home.
Upper Michigan, you're special in the sunshine rain.
It drew everybody together. Just some restoration of pride. It's easy to be negative. This was very positive, and it paid off.
Upper Michigan, you're special. TV6 Market.
Someplace Special was our brand, and as history has it, that just took off and went many places that people couldn't even imagine back then. And Someplace Special is basically what the UP is. I mean, it really defines the whole entity and everything.
If you'd asked the Richies how drastic their lives have changed, they wouldn't have known what the future would hold. The community got involved to help the Richies get by.
Just everybody just pitched in and just said, this is what we're going to do, and they did it. Friends just moved in and tore the house down and put the basement up. It's unbelievable.
The Richies hope to move into their new house right before Christmas. But perhaps the best thing that's come out of all this is bringing a small community of 200 even closer. TV6 News, Schaefer.
Ed Carney was the news director, and we were doing this special in regards to Upper Michigan. And he wanted one segment to be about the people of Upper Michigan. So he said, like, grab a camera, take a car, spend the day and go out and find me some people of the Upper Michigan. I go like, well, where do you want me to go and who do you want me to see? I don't care, you go find somebody. So I'm going like, oh man, this is nothing I'm used to, you know, just drive around and find somebody to talk about what it's like to live here. And I got really lucky. I was down in the Cornell area of Delta County, and I was driving down some back road, and here was this family underneath this big, huge tree. It was a farm, and I stopped by to see if I could talk to them, and they said, oh sure, come on, you know, sit in here, you know. So we talked there for a couple hours, and I recorded things, and they were the nicest people I've ever met. The epitome of what Upper Michigan is and the people that live here.
I think it's a pity that at one time we thought of America as a melting pot. Now that we think of the pot as a big pot of stew with great big lumps of culture in it, I think we have a far better chance of preserving these fine things that each of the ethnic groups brought to America when they came here.
Upper Michigan Today was a look at the people, places, and personalities of Upper Michigan. Any major network, right? They have perhaps 30 to 45 seconds, and that's got to tell the whole story. Where we were able to really dive into the story instead of just a soundbite. We also had another program called Upper Michigan Tonight. And we did an anniversary of the Grand Hotel and schlepping all of our equipment all over the place. Every person that we met said, have you talked to Agnes Shine? When she was very young, she was a housekeeper at the Grand Hotel.
I didn't come to America to do housework. Thought I was coming to America to make a fortune. Just like the Irishman when he went to London, digging for gold in the street. The lady said, you can't teach an old hen new tricks. But she says, I'm going to take you in hand. Nothing electric. We had to do everything though. They were very, very particular. And we met a lot of people. They all keep in touch and have a cup of tea, especially young men. You're Scottish, you're stubborn and doer. You know what that is? Doer.
I had goosebumps for her sharing. And we met so many people like that.
We will all go home and we'll say, we're never going to do this again. It's stupid, it's insane. And Monday we'll probably have a meeting planning next year's event.
When I was jumping real good, I always wanted to jump to the bottom. If you fell, so what? Most of the time you stood, you know.
Got this horse given to us, so we went on from there with the racehorses.
Your United States Air Force Thunderbirds are extremely pleased to be here for the K.I. Sawyer Open House 89.
celebrated. Not only people now in the Upper Peninsula, but the history of it. Sisu and the old timers. That history had to be told.
This is Buck Levasseur. It's Monday night, time for Upper Michigan's very own Discovery.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone.
Doc Christofferson was a Sault Ste. Marie dentist. Birds, he said, subscribed to the old saying, "There's no place like home." They returned from thousands of miles to a single tree.
These are what I treasure, the only way I measure.
As you get older, I realized that my dad was my best friend. Mother was an ER nurse, so she worked nights a lot, and so my dad would bring me everywhere during the day, so I pretty much grew up in the outdoors.
There's so much to discover.
When he was first starting out, he didn't really know how long he was going to be doing it. He just enjoyed doing it. He would travel swamps with a tripod on his back, bugs eating them, wood ticks all over the place. In order to get that great shot, you gotta hunt. You're hunting with a camera. I was in the blind and I was asleep while my dad got that actual film of the ruffed grouse with it drumming and doing the whole mating ritual. And that's what my dad did. It took all his dedication.
The customs and the people from a dozen foreign lands.
Saul was one of those guys where you ask one question, stand back.
Went to all your country, the horns, ba-doom, boy. But he said, Johnny said, boy, your shot's so perfect, but couldn't go through.
I just sat there with a big smile on my face and couldn't believe what I was capturing.
These are what I treasure.
He didn't want to have a legacy. What he wanted to show was that he loved what he did, he loved the people, and he loved the outdoors. And I'm really glad to see that the show that my dad created a long time ago is still here and doing the same thing that my dad did. Show the viewers that, hey, even if you can't do this, there's programs out there that you can. Anybody can get out and enjoy the outdoors.
The feelings that I have for this fine land.
I live off the land as much as I can, and I enjoy that, yeah. And a lot of good memories that will always go with you for the rest of your life. Something that we got for free and we can enjoy it all we want.
Until next week, this is Buck Levasseur saying, get out and enjoy the great outdoors.
It was my interest in the polar regions that ended up being probably the best assignment I ever had. It was to document the first all-female expedition to the North Pole. And when we arrived at the top of the Earth, we all got a chance to make a phone call home. And I got a second chance to make another call. And I called Steve Asplund. And I said, we made it. I said, tell Buck, we made it. Steve told me, he said, I had that on my answering machine for the longest time. Just, how many times do you get a call into the newsroom that's from the geographic top of the world? Kind of funny.
We did it! Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Asplund. Like the dawning of a new day, today marks the beginning of a new decade, the 90s. What will they bring? The 80s brought about drastic change, from the world to the UP. It was packed with blockbuster events.
I was always thinking about my grandmother when I was on the air.
What is your name, please? Santa Claus?
If you are looking into their eyes, if you're making them feel comfortable, I think I would speak to them as if they were my friends or my family.
A little something for Don here to say goodbye.
Now, there were some that I didn't make because I was the very first woman that they hired specifically for news. We used to have our legislators. In those days, it was like, oh, little girl, you come sit right here on my lap and leave politics to the men. But they knew my name because I wasn't willing to roll over. I had to speak up.
Today's snowstorm is just what we've all ordered for a white Christmas, but for the travelers and for the state police, it makes a hectic holiday.
When you go to tell a story, you know, you can always earn points back in a ratings, but could you ever earn back your credibility? And that was always driven home to us, that the power of your story is so important. We learned that ratings will come and go, but your credibility, that's here to stay.
Frida Wara, TV6 News.
Taking a look at what's happening today, it's the weather, naturally, and that's the big story it's been for most of the week. And the thing is, if you're yourself, both on the job or off the job, people respect that. It's just that experience and that shared respect for each other that we had throughout the community, throughout the station, throughout the people that you worked with day in and day out. When you live in the UP, it's a lifestyle decision. You're not going to get rich, you're not going to get the fame, you're not going to get a lot of those things, but your lifestyle is so enriched by all those extra things that you get, it's more than pays for itself.
In the UP, and I've been all over the world, you never meet more warm and welcoming, opinionated, but delightful people and characters. It's a small town atmosphere that means so much to me. When I come home, across that Mackinac Bridge, I breathe a sigh of relief. It's someplace special.
A lot of people take this wonderful nature for granted. Something we can enjoy and cherish forever.
Take a look. Production for the newscast is in full swing. Stories are being worked on and phone calls are being made.
I think the people, as many talents as they have, they're rather shy about expressing themselves. But I would say they're the finest people on earth.
Wildlife has always been an important part of discovering, but so are the people. People who have become not only subjects for discovering, but friends.